Hey everybody, Chris Leach here. Just want to make a short video here to tell you a little bit about myself, show off my collection and my setup. I want to post this on YouTube and add the link on a couple of the Facebook groups I'm on. Figure that way you get to know me and what I do and what I've got. A little bit about me. I've been keeping and breeding and field collecting reptiles and amphibians for well over 30 years. I grew up in a pet shop. My dad owned Pet Palace in Kansas City, Kansas, and the Indian Springs Mall, also one in Bonner Springs. And as well at home, my dad kept a large collection of pythons. He was probably amongst one of the first to captively breed Burmese pythons back in the 70s. And he also kept about 27 species of hots. So I grew up around this, doing this. My first snake was when I was like 3 or 4 years old. I had a little western hognose snake named Stubby because he had a little stubby tail. First breeding was probably king snakes, I would say, in the early 90s. And over the years, I've kept just about almost anything and everything. I've kept hots. I don't keep hots anymore. One time I had, probably over 100 snakes. Did some online business in the late 90s, but for me, what I found is when my collection gets too big, it can get expensive to take care of. Also, it can require too much time, and sometimes it just gives you burnout. So how I do it today is I keep a small collection of a few species that I'm really passionate about, and I just really enjoy what I do and keep it small, and that's how I do it. So enough about me. Let's talk about my setup here. I live in an apartment, so I've got a very small setup. These are 6-foot neodeschas, and these are custom built. I built myself 2 by 4 by 18-inch tall, a stack of 4 of them. All the cages are heated by FlexWatt heat tape under one end, thermostatically controlled. I keep the temperatures right through that thermostat, and I keep these thermometers in here just so I can keep track. Also, if you notice, every cage has a lock on it. I think that's really important, for us, for the safety of our hobby. Snakes getting out is never a good thing, especially if the neighbors find them, or big snakes, when something bad happens. So also every cage has hides, water bowls, and pest strips in it to keep the mites out. So that's pretty much my basic setup. Also, lights on these are on a timer. So as far as what I keep a few species of pythons. We'll take a look. I keep Indian pythons. This is my female Indian. She's a couple years old. She's just a little over 4 foot now. Indian pythons are a little bit of a slow grower. They max out. Usually females 10 to 12 feet, and males are usually 8 to 10 feet. So here we got a nasty meanie down here. She keeps striking the glass. This is my male Indian, and he's a little over 3 feet at the time. And this is Big Nasty. This is a Dwarf Burm. She's a female, and she's about maybe 5 foot long, and she's nasty as can be. But that's as big as they get, and she's about 4 or 5 years old, so she's pretty much maxed out. And then this little guy down here is a Super Dwarf Retic. So basically, I'm going to raise these Indians up and hope to produce some of those in the future. With the dwarfs, what I like about the dwarfs is that not everybody has business having a large python. So right now, what I'm working on with the Super Dwarf and Retic and the Dwarf Burm is working on a Super Dwarf Bat Eater. I don't know of anybody that's produced any of these yet, so I want to try and be the first. But also with the Dwarf Burm, I'm going to be working with Steve Garnett. He has Burmese pythons, a lot of different morphs, and so we're going to try and start introducing some of the different morphs and making some half dwarfs. I think it's just a real good idea. That way, people that don't have business having a big snake, don't have the money or the place to keep them, could still have an option. And I think I'll expand a little bit on the Super Dwarf Retics as well, because again, I think it's a good option. Obviously, I'm not in this for the money. I'm in it because I love what I do. These guys are my favorite. These are Sri Lankan or Ceylonese pythons, Python Molurus Pimbura. This is the male, and these guys are full grown, hoping to breed this year. He's about 10 foot long. And then this is the female, and she is 11, maybe pushing 12 feet, and she's just a really, really heavy-bodied snake. And again, these guys are pretty nasty, but you know what makes them my favorite snake is that they're very, very rare. They're very beautiful. The lighting does no justice, and these guys are a little bit dark right now. The heads are just bright pink, lots of yellows and grays, and just really beautiful snakes. I think probably the reason I really love these snakes is because back in the early '90s, my dad gave me a call, and he said, "Hey, I seen a pair of Sri Lankan pythons. I've heard of them, but never seen them before. And this guy's got them in his shop, and you ought to go take a look." So I went and I saw them, and I fell in love, and I picked them up. And a couple years later, before they were a breeding size, I kind of went through a phase where I just downsized and got rid of a bunch of stuff, and I got rid of them, and I always regretted it. So when I decided, I went through a little period here a couple years ago where I wasn't really keeping much, and decided, hey, let's get this thing focused and do what we love. And so I put out the search, and I ended up finding these through a gentleman named Kelly Haller, and they're actually their genetics originate from some specimens that Tom Crutchfield imported from the National Zoo in Sri Lanka. So very good genetics, very good looking animals. As far as the Indians, those come from Zelf Ridgeway out of Florida, and they are originally from, I believe, Tampa Zoo stock. And the Dwarf Burm is out of East Bay Vivarium. She's just a nasty, and she's in blue, so she likes her hide. She likes to burrow, and then the Super Dwarf, I'm not real sure on the original genetics on that, but this is my collection. Like I said, I'm hoping to have the Sri Lankans produce this year. They're really fattened up and ready to go. They've been almost 5 years in the making, so really this is it takes a lot of patience in this. It's a process. So, and then like I said, I'm hoping to maybe to get lucky and put out some Super Dwarf bat eaters this year. And if not, probably maybe some half dwarfs that I'm gonna work with Steve on, and definitely in the next few years we're gonna be working on putting different labyrinth, albino, green, granite, hypo. We've got a lot of options. I mean, Steve's got everything, so we're gonna see what we can do with that. So, well, everybody, this is my nice little small collection, and that's a little bit about me, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.